Welcome to my very first hardcore Ruby Nuzlocke. The great world of Pokemon is known for determined players overcoming challenging battles and making champions out of the most unassuming trainers. Before we get too far into my story, let me go over what makes a normal Pokemon playthrough into a Nuzlocke. Rule number 1, if a Pokemon faints in battle, they are dead for the remainder of the run. No reviving mons is allowed. Rule number 2, you can only catch the very first Pokemon you see in an encounter area. Personally, I put the duplicates clause, stating if I encounter a Pokemon of the same species captured before on a different area, I can move on to the next encounter to catch something new. This allows for more diversity on my team. Rule number 3, every new Pokemon captured must be named to bring more attachment to the Pokemon. Without this rule, a Pikachu would only be a Pikachu and not a Dr. Boltler the 6th. Rule number 4, if at any point a player's team is fully defeated in battle, the run is over. It's back to square one. Don't worry, we'll see an example of this soon enough. These 4 rules make up the basics of a Pokemon Nuzlocke. Now let's go over what makes a regular Nuzlocke into a hardcore one. Rule number 5, you are not allowed to use items in battle unless it is a held item by a Pokemon before the battle begins. This means I am not allowed to use potions in the middle of battle to heal my Pokemon, or use a full heal to cure status effects such as confusion, poisoning, burning, and so on. Rule number 6, all battles must be in set mode. This basically means I cannot switch out my battling Pokemon for free after defeating an enemy Pokemon in battle. I would need to use my turn in battle to switch out my Pokemon instead. And finally, rule number 7, I am not allowed to overlevel my Pokemon past the next gym leader's ace Pokemon. For example, the first gym leader's ace Pokemon is Nosepass at level 15, therefore no Pokemon at level 16 or higher on my team would be allowed to battle against this gym leader. I also use this rule when it comes to my rival. I'm not allowed to overlevel past the next encounter of my rival's ace Pokemon. With all that said, let's jump straight into the very first attempt of my hardcore Ruby Nuzlocke. As my journey begins, I find myself stuffed in the back of Mover's truck. I guess seatbelts aren't really needed in the world of Pokemon. Once the door opens, I step out into the Hoenn region. My mother greets me at the front door of our new home and tells me to go set up my clock in my room. I suppose the batteries didn't survive the moving process. Either way, once that is done, I head downstairs to find my mom drooling over a commercial of my dad on TV. She exchanges a few words with me, and I head out to meet the girl next door. She seems like a nice girl, but she isn't much for words and leaves me alone in her room. Yeah, this is weird. I'm out of here. Well, let's see what else I can find in this backwater town. Heading north, I find a little kid watching something happening in the tall grass. It's a professor being chased by a Poochyena. He yells at me to grab a Pokeball from his bag and fight off the little beast. I pick Torchic. Fight types are always hard to come by in the early game, so why not? I beat the little pup, and he takes me back to the lab to explain what a Pokemon trainer means. I skip through the dialogue and head out for my adventure with my new pal, Chicken. Chicken and I head north and head through Oldsdale Town. I heal up quick and head off to Route 103. We find our rival, May. She challenges us to our first Pokemon battle. Unfortunately, this is my last as she murders Chicken. This is how the battle went. Without mercy, May's Mudkip ended our first attempt early and without remorse. Well, like I said earlier on in the video, if your team is wiped, it's back to square one. This time I picked Trico as my starter and named him Frogger. I guess naming my Pokemon after food wasn't the best idea since Mudkip seemed to be very hungry. This time we head back to Oldsdale and challenge May's Torchic. After emerging victorious this time around, I head back to Little Root Town to talk to Professor and May. Here I got my Pokedex and 5 Pokeballs. This moment marks the beginning to my adventure in the Hoenn region. On the way out of town, Mom stops me to give me a pair of running shoes. No more walking for me. On Route 101, I got my first catchable encounter. It's a Poochyena. With ease, Frogger brings the pup into a catchable range of health, and I get my first new companion. I name Poochyena Daisy, after John Wick's dog. Let's just hope nothing bad happens to this little guy. Otherwise, we already know what is to come. From here, I head to the Poke Center to heal my team and run back to Route 103. Here, I catch my second encounter Pokemon, Zigzagoon. Once again, Frogger brings the Pokemon's health into a catchable range, and I nail the catch. I named Zigzagoon Chopper. This is a reference to the raccoon dog in One Piece. With another companion at my side, we make our way to Route 102, where I get some light switch training in for my team. Nothing too crazy, but I do end up coming across a C-Dot. After a short beatdown, we catch him and name him Nuzlocke. After all, this type of run is named after the specific Pokemon's second evolution, Nuzleaf. With our 4 Pokemon pals, we head to Petalburg City to meet my dad face to face. He tasks us to help a local kid catch his first Pokemon. Too bad I couldn't be lucky enough to catch Geralt's in Route 102, but it is what it is. After wasting time teaching people the basics of catching Pokemon, I make my way to Route 104, where I catch Wurmple. Worminkle seems to be a fitting name, and I move on to do some training until it evolves into a Silcoon. With 5 Pokemon on my team, I felt like it was time to battle the locals on the beach outside of Petalburg City. Well, this was my first mistake in this run. I completely underestimated youngster Billy and his insane Tailo. Not only did it kill Daisy, but it one-hit KO'd Worminkle right after I evolved it. It was time for blood. Chopper critically tackled Tailo for the last hit, even though it wasn't really necessary, and ended this bloodthirsty bird. With heavy hearts, we moved on to Petalburg Woods. While deep in the forest, we came across a man being ambushed over some papers by a member of Team Magma. The man hid behind me, and the Team Magma member challenged me to a battle. Frogger, face to face with a Pokemon similar to the one we lost, did what needed to be done. Once the Team Magma member's Pokemon was defeated, he ran off. The man I saved gave me a Great Ball and ran off into the woods. Somehow, I exited the woods without encountering a single catchable Pokemon. I did run into a Wurmple, but as stated earlier, I don't catch duplicate Pokemon. Now on Route 104, I found a flower shop, and I was given a Wilmer Pail, allowing me to water plants. This item helps grow berries faster while out in the wild. Not satisfied with the state of my team, I decided to go back into the woods and find my next encounter Pokemon. It was Tailo. Reluctantly, I caught this Mon after remembering the damage this Pokemon caused my team. I named it Tweety after the old Tweety Bird cartoon character. After this, I grinded my team against an insane amount of Pokemon on Route 104 and Petalburg Woods. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a new Pokemon to catch on Route 104, but I did end up evolving C-Dot while training up for the first gym leader's battle. Once the team was completely maxed out at the level cap of 15, it was time to battle Roxanne. This is how the battle turned out. Frogger one-hit KO'd Geodude and almost single-handedly took out Nosepass, but I didn't trust Nosepass to not critically hit Poggers, so I switched out for Chopper. Chopper was no match for Nosepass, so I switched out to Nuzlocke, knowing Tailo would most likely be one-hit KO'd by this rock beast. Nuzlocke did a little bit of damage, but again, was no match for Nosepass. I had to risk it. I sent Frogger back in, and somehow he was able to defeat Roxanne's ace Pokemon. With the League Stone badge in my hand and a bruised up team, we walked out alive and intact. Only a couple steps out the door, and a Team Magma member bolted past, and a dapper looking fellow yelled, "Don't take my goods!" Well, that wasn't weird. I took the team to the Poke Center and then proceeded to see what the commotion was all about. A nice dressed man stopped me on my way to Route 116 and told me the Magma member was headed towards the rock tunnel with his Devon goods. so I proceeded to Route 116 where Frogger evolved after defeating youngster Joey's Machop. Frogger was a Trico no more, but an amazing Grovyle. Moments later, I came across a Whismur and added it to my team. I named it Megaphone and proceeded to the tunnel to find the devious Magma member. Tweenie made short work of his Poochyena and sent him running off empty-handed. Right after he left, an old man ran into the tunnel to recover his stolen Pokemon and offered us a ride across the sea as a reward for saving his bird. With the Devon goods in hand, I walked back to Rustboro City to return what was stolen. The dapper fellow I talked to before brought me to his leader, who gave me a letter and a Pokénav for my troubles. Once I was done talking, it was time to see the older gentleman I saw in the cave. He gave me a boat ride to Dewford Town, where I would eventually battle the second gym leader, Brawly. Before I could do that though, I needed to train my Pokemon to the new level cap of 18 to face off against his level 18 Makuhita. While walking through Dewford Town, I met a fisherman who gave me an old fishing rod. With this rod, I was able to fish up a Magikarp that I named Haku after the river spirit and spirited away. I also had the boatman take me back to Petalburg to fish up a Goldeen I named Darwin. With a full party, it was time to train up for the second gym leader. Once I had my entire party at the level max of 18, I walked into Brawly's gym, ready to face off against his fighting type Pokemon. I'm going to let this one play out so you guys can experience the bloodbath like I did. With the League Knuckle Badge in my hand, I left the second gym leader's gym, suffering 2 more losses. This run has gone from bad to worse in a few short moments, but I won't let this setback stop me from pushing forward. After the battle, I add Haku back into my team and catch a Tentacool on Route 106. I named him Squidward. Once my team is back to a solid 6 mons, I head to Granite Cave. While in the cave, I catch a Zubat and name it Marceline after my favorite Adventure Time character. Deeper into the cavern's depths, I meet Steven. I give him the letter I received from Mr. Stone back in Rustboro City. He thanks me and leaves the cave. I do the same and make my way back to the old boatman who gave me a ride to Slateport. After making landfall, I run straight to Route 110, where I encounter another Mon to add to my party. It's an Electrike. I name him Raiden and move on. Eventually, I find Captain Stern at the Oceanic Museum studying ship designs. I hand over the Devon goods, and Team Magma storms the room trying to steal the parts I just gave the captain. I made short work of the first Team Magma's team, but foolishly forgot that Numel is a fire-type Pokemon, and it uses Ember against Nuzlocke. Yet another loss to my inexperience. I switched out to Chopper, and she headbutts the Numel for the KO. Rest in peace, Nuzlocke. If only I knew this marked the beginning of the end for me and my team. After chasing Team Magma off, I make my way back to Route 110 to battle trainers and grind up my team for the next rival encounter with a level cap of 20. I enter the Trick Master's home, ready for some easy W's. I blast through all the trainers except for the very last one in the maze room. Raiden failed to land a quick attack, costing him his life. A level 14 Zigzagoon used Headbutt and killed Raiden in cold blood. I sent out Marceline for the revenge, and she used Bite to finish Raiden's murderer. I head back to the Pokemon Center and add Squidward into my party. After this moment, I take my time training up my last 6 Pokemon I had to level 20 to prepare for the next rival fight. In the process, Haku evolves into Gyarados, and Chopper evolves into a Lanoon. Now with a maxed out party at level 20, it's time to face May at Route 110. This is how the battle went. After defeating my rival without suffering a single loss, I moved on to make my way to Mauville City. I walked up to the gym and saw a familiar face. It was Wally, the kid I taught to catch Pokemon in Petalburg City. A short battle later, and I made my way into the gym. While there and preparing to battle the 3rd gym leader, I decided to battle the trainers inside the gym. Like an idiot, I lost Frogger to the very first trainer's Magnemite after Frogger hit himself due to confusion. Yep, I lost my starter Pokemon before I could even face the 3rd gym leader. I sent in Chopper to finish the job, and he defeated the Magnemite. At this point, my team is in horrible shape to battle in an electric gym, so I get everybody to max level 23 and run to the casino to hopefully get moves that could help me defeat gym leader Watson and his horrifying electric types. I ended up gambling long enough to afford every item the casino had to offer. I'd rather not admit how long this took, so let's move on to what I got out of it. A mountain of TMs. I taught my Pokemon a couple new moves to help me with the battle against Watson, and this is how the battle went. As you can see, I lost my team and the run. Regardless, I had a great time with the Nuzlocke attempt and decided I wanted to share this with all of you. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more gaming content in the future. Also, if you're interested in what a winning Nuzlocke looks like, feel free to check out this video. I live streamed my very first Nuzlocke last year on Twitch and had a blast doing it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later, trainers.